To begin with, my sincere tribute to all the victims and sufferers of the COVID pandemic. This pandemic has come as the biggest global health disasters of the century. It has led to loss of millions of lives, caused so much of income disparities, pushed so many people beyond poverty, and exposed the weaknesses of our health and social protection systems. However, we should not forget that in the 18th, 19th, and the 20th century, the world has seen many such big disasters, like the Great Plague, like the Spanish flu, and like the Asiatic cholera. And every time, humanity bounced back, which is why I see a bright future for the Asia-Pacific region. I say this because this is the region which has the world's largest and the most dynamic economies. The economies which have been able to pull out, lift millions of people above the multidimensional poverty. This is the region which helped the global economy in the recession of 2008 and 9. And this is also a region which has made a contribution of 34.5% to the global economy. Well, the ESCAP estimates say that this pandemic has pushed 89 million people below the multidimensional poverty. However, I would say that these are very conservative estimates. The figure could be much higher. What we must understand today after this pandemic is that our health infrastructure, our social protection systems are quite weak. And we really need to increase our investments in the health care systems. We also must be able to broaden and expand our social protection systems. There is a big need to further grow our trade and investment linkages, to create an environment wherein employment opportunities could be generated, because there is a severe loss of jobs, there is a huge unemployment, and this is leading to income disparities. In addition to increased investment in health and social protection, what we also need is an increased digital connectivity. We need more technology adoption. We also have another front to fight, which is of climate change, which is of the natural disasters. So we must come together to reduce the carbon emissions and protect our planet and the future of the coming generations. ESCAP, I believe, can play a very important role of being a forum where a lot of sharing of knowledge about the good practices in achieving the SDGs and our development experiences could be shared with the member nations. So ESCAP, I'm sure in times to come, will continue to play that big role for more and more of regional cooperation and a movement towards the 2030 UN agenda of achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Well, COVID pandemic has actually given us an opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset the world that we live in. We all understand how the global supply chains have been disrupted by the COVID pandemic. So we have good lessons to learn from the pandemic. It teaches us that now we need to work towards building much more resilient supply chains, which have the ability to adapt and bounce back in times of unprecedented emergency situations. We need to have multiple sourcing strategies. The supply should continue with more than one supply routes. And like I said earlier, enhance investment in health, social protection, digital connectivity, uh, improving our investments, everything needs to be worked upon. We have a very important role to play in addressing climate change. Also, there could be issues related to cross-border terrorism, drug menace. Everything needs a great deal of regional cooperation and collective action, because we'll be able to unlock the huge potential which exists in the Asia-Pacific region if we come together. Our strength and our unity and our solidarity will go a long way in ensuring the prosperity and the post-pandemic recovery of the region.